For my biology demonstration today, I've chosen to do a blood typing activity that you can use with your students. Unfortunately, I don't have my biology placement until February, so I won't have the opportunity to film it with them. But it's a great hands-on activity that you can use within your classroom that involves very little setup and supplies. Before I go into all the details of what you'll need to do this lab with your students, I just wanted to discuss some of the background knowledge you'll need to have before running the lab with your class. So saying that, I probably wouldn't use this activity as a hook or introduction to teach your students about blood types and transfusions. They would need to have some sort of prior knowledge and background information in order for them to fully grasp what the lab is trying to demonstrate. So for that, I would say you would have to have some sort of textbook reading, lesson, demonstration to explain to them what the different blood types are, the antigens in which they possess, and then maybe touch on blood transfusions. That's mostly what this lab is about, so they can apply what they've previously learned to this. Okay, so let's go through what you're going to need for the lab. So you're going to need 4 to 5 plastic cups. Ideally, I like to use a clear plastic cup just so that you can clearly identify what each blood type is, opposed to an opaque cup where you have less visibility. But either way is fine, whatever you have on hand. I say 4 to 5 cups because you'll need 4 for the blood type. I use the 5th in order to mix the different solutions together as if we were doing a blood transfusion between a donor and a receiver. You could definitely use some sort of slide or mixing vessel like a beaker. I don't have those on hand, unfortunately, so I'm going to use a cup, which works just as fine. Or you can use some sort of paper plate. Either way, as long as it doesn't absorb the liquid that you're using, then it's completely fine. Okay, so once you have your materials, the next step you're going to need to do is to label each cup. Here I've put little paper labels on indicating the 4 blood types. You can definitely use some sort of sticky note or just use a permanent marker as long as it's clearly legible. Next, what you do is you have to take 2 food coloring colors, I should say. As long as they're primary colors, this activity will work. So whether it's blue and yellow or red and yellow, I've chosen red and blue. It's just for simplicity's sake in terms of labeling the cups. Once you've picked your 2 colors, you need to indicate which blood or which colors go for each blood type. I've put red in my A cup. I've put blue in my B cup. And in my AB, it's a combination of equal parts of red and blue food coloring. Okay, so once you have your food coloring into the 3 cups, you can fill up all 4 cups with water. I filled mine all the way up to the top just because unfortunately I don't have access to a pipette or a syringe to get the solution out of the cups. So I filled them up to the top just for more ease of access. In the class though, I'd probably fill them up about halfway just so that the solution doesn't get everywhere and make a mess. The food coloring can stain depending on what surface it's on, so I would ensure that you maybe put out a plastic bag or have some sort of covering for your surface area. Once that is set up, you can assign students into groups so that they can replicate this and then start their own investigation.